Hey everybody, the future is now, and the future is the entire meteoric rise of Tesla over the last 5 months. How I break it down via the charts, and I just appreciate you guys watching this, but you definitely want to watch it when you have plenty of time, or you can just listen to it. Most of it's just the charts. You guys know where the actual stock price has gone. I've added a ton of clips from all kinds of things that have been happening to Tesla over that time to keep.
Standard moving average, I use a 50-day in Tesla. I mean, you could use 20, 50, 100, 200. The 50 seems right for this stock. Personally, I like the 50 because it's just, I'm not getting it out every 5 minutes, but I'm not, also I'm trying to really maximize the gains so anyway, you can see up on the top of this trend, downward trend, you can see where it's cutting down on the moving average line, and it bounces it and it bounces it, and you can see a V bottom right here. That's plain as day. Okay, V bottom, and you can see that downward trend, and then anyway, you can see where it breaks the 50-day moving average here, which is a good buy point. Okay, but you don't really see at this point an actual trend following. I mean, that market could still be going down, right? But now it cracks down here and it forms another basis on an upward trend channel. I don't like two only. I want three is what I like, because now I have a solid trend. You can see boom, boom, boom. It's right on those, kicking off that, breaks the 50-day here, and big surprise, it goes through the little wedge. You can call that a flag, a wedge, a triangle, whatever you want. But when it breaks that, and coincidentally, it broke the 200-day moving average actually today, which is a big indicator for any stock in general. So, and it was up like $8.35 for the day. That's monstrous. I mean, that's a huge boost, and I think it was mainly because it broke not just one thing. I mean, it was above the trend line. That's one. It's above the 50-day moving average. That's two. It broke the wedge, which is three, and then it broke the 200-day moving average, which is four. Big surprise, the market saw this, and technical people saw this and bought in, and you could see a lot of buying today. So, I mean, you could see, and I'm not trying to predict the future up here, but it's in an upward channel right now. I would worry about it if it was below the channel, below the 50-day or whatever, and that would change my perspective on where we should be in this. But anyway, this is how I look at Tesla. For example, in the future is $300 a share plus for Tesla. The earnings report came out today after hours, and the stock reacted heavily. A lot of short covering drove the stock up heavily. Right now, it's right around 308. Potentially, it's been hovering around 300 to 308, which is incredible move. It's about 18% up after hours. That's a huge burst, off of the earnings report. But if we look at this, I mean, take the earnings report aside. Okay, the trend was showing that upward progress. So for them to have a really terrible earnings report, that would have kind of gone against all the past history over the last couple months. So to me, that wasn't a big surprise. It was a surprise, I mean, I didn't necessarily expect it myself, and I'm not predicting it either way. I don't have any inside information on Tesla and company. I'm just following the data and the trends. Now it's pushing it up to right around 300, 308 per share, which is the high side of the trend. You see, I put a little a top on here. And anyway, that's really good news for Tesla moving forward. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to have an effect for the next couple of weeks. I mean, you're going to see a lot of potential volatility in the stock over the next couple of weeks. The future could be $900 a share for Tesla. I'm going to show you how I extrapolate that. But first thing I want to do is get into the technical analysis on current events, okay? So first things first, there's a flag pattern forming. You can't really see it in the mountain view. So I like to switch this to a filled candlestick view. Okay, that's first things first. So now once the earnings came out, it popped the stock. Okay, and this usually drives it into this flag pattern. So you can see the bottom of the flag pattern here. You can take another one up here and the top of the flag pattern here. Okay, and you can see that flag right here. plain as day. Again, this is like something that everyone should know. The flag pattern. This happens when the stock busts up. It doesn't really know what to do at this point. Nobody wants to sell it because it's on fire, and nobody really wants to buy it because it's too high. So that moves it sideways in this flag pattern. However, when it does break the flag pattern, which was right here, it shoots up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Once it broke the flag pattern, it went from 320 to 350, which is $30 per share at that point. So we had shares purchased in at 240 when it broke, and then more shares at this level pushing up, okay, because of the flag pattern break. So basically we're in up here at about 90 shares. We're trying to add another 110 shares over the next 2 years, and I'm going to show you how that breaks down. But I wanted to show you this flag pattern because it's very common when earnings reports push up, and you can see what's kind of happening. So that can help you, you know, with your strategies. Because of the release of the Mach-E. Well, it was right here. It went down. Is that, you see that small little, like, the movement down? I think it was like $2 a share. So, and honestly, I think that was more of a trade. I think traders were like, "Oh man, they just released that. Let's trade against Tesla." You know, so I think it was more of a trade of, and $2 wasn't much of a gain on a trade. I mean, but and then today it shot back up another. I don't know how many dollars. Oh, here it is, right here. Sorry. $9.53. So it went down $2 yesterday, but apparently the Mach-E did not phase Tesla. And it went up $9.53. Let's put it into perspective. Ford stock is $8.90, and Tesla stock went up $9.50. Tesla stock went up a whole Ford Motor Company in one day. Is that right? Not really, but I mean, just to make a joke out of it. But still, that's kind of ridiculous if you think about it that way. You know, I mean, it's a percentage. Everything's based on the percentage. It went up 2.7% today. That's pretty good considering the news that people were saying, it's going to go back down to 240 now. Because they released the Mach-E, does that really actually battle Tesla? And I was thinking about it, and once again, how do I break it down analytically? What the people that are going to buy or who are considering buying a Tesla, are they now going to buy this Ford? Is that compelling that they're going to go buy that? And my answer was no. I don't see that being a compelling offer. Now, it will sell to people, so who is it going to sell to? Current Ford owners, I hope. I mean, it's going to sell to people who are already driving Fords. Now they're just going to be like, okay, cool, now I can drive an electric Ford. So it's not like it's pulling away from Tesla's market share to sell that vehicle in a stock-based way to look at it. You know, is it pulling market share? And I don't believe so. So in that, you know, I wouldn't say this proves it, but I mean, to me, that's like, I mean, this is still pickup truck. This whole section here is pickup truck push. So everybody's like, well, should you sell or buy through the pickup truck and everything? And I don't give advice on buying or selling anything. I just tell you what I do. I'm giving you my opinion on what I do, and I show you why I do it in a mathematical, analytical way, not in a, well, I just love Tesla. They're like the best company ever. Okay, that's not a reason to buy or sell something. I would have been shorting Tesla up here. Okay, I probably would have been, but once again, I wasn't in the market at that point, you know. But anyways, so this was all earnings boost. This section here, all earnings boost. This section here is pretty much all pickup truck unveil potential news. So this, whether the stock goes up or down after the pickup truck, is not really relevant because it basically already did. People aren't really considering that. Okay, this is what it means by baked into the pie. Now, people say that all the time in the market, oh, but that's already cooked in there, that's already baked into it. And what they mean by that is this is all the seasonings and all the spices baked into that pickup truck. Those are all the things. So it going up or down from here, it's already went up because of the pickup truck. You know, that's the main driving force right there. I mean, why were people buying during this point? You know, because they're about to release it, and they want to be in on that moment. So to me, that's a positive thing. You know, that shows that it's probably going to have a positive effect on the stock, but I don't care either way if it goes up or down at that point of the release or not release. You know, I care more whether I'm going to like the truck or not myself, but than the actual stock, because that's not the whole thing. I mean, if they don't produce a pickup truck, then I guess that they're going to go bankrupt, right? No, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's one vehicle. That's like saying 9 Disney films are awesome, and then they produce something that's like kind of average, and oh my God, I guess Disney stock's going to crash, and nobody's ever going to watch a Disney movie again. That's just not how it works. So you can't base things on one thing or just on news. Everybody does everything on news, and this is a big misconception. Okay, one indicator in the market is news. Okay, and some news doesn't even move a stock up or down. I mean, look at what happened with Ford. That news of the release didn't do anything for the stock. You know, that news, if it was on Tesla side, would have done a lot. So news, it depends on the company you're dealing with, whether news is even an indicator at all. You know, it is more so with Tesla, but it's not the end-all be-all indicator of news. Trend is the biggest thing. Okay, you want to follow the trends. And people say, oh, you don't know, bet against everybody else. No, you want to follow the trend. If everybody's buying, that stock is driving up and you're making money that whole time. Don't be buying, in general, I wouldn't be buying going downward trend and keep buying down while you keep losing more and more money. Why not wait till the trend goes up and you start making money? I don't understand. Everybody gets so greedy trying to find a bottom that they keep buying going down. That's a mistake. That is a huge, huge mistake. Okay? And that's what I'm going to leave you with. That's a mistake. Really strange formation in the stock market today. And I don't know what to call it, so I was just going to call it the Cybertruck pattern. All right? Looks like it's going up to like this triangle type scenario, trapezoidish type thing. And anyway, it looks like it should go over and then back to the line. So how do we play this one? And anyway, let me bring in our guest host today. Come on, Anita. Come on up here. So let me ask you, what does this pattern look like to you?
The Cybertruck.
The Cybertruck?
Yeah.
It does look a little bit like the Cybertruck. Who makes the Cybertruck?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, he does. So that does look familiar. Maybe there's some reason he did this. Anyway, Anita's down here. You probably can't see her. Here, I'll lift her up. She's my assistant today, and she's going over the Cybertruck analysis. All right.
I'm in my pajamas.
She's in her pajamas. Anyway, all right. So I had to share this to you because I haven't seen this pattern form ever. And anyway, in the future, just sold my stocks off for Tesla. What happened? Well, let's find out. I mean, what caused this? First of all, I had a stop loss set at 330. Okay, and I did this and I set stops on purpose on stocks so I'm not emotional about things. So the math of it automatically triggers it when it hits a certain number, and it will sell or buy or do whatever I want it to do without having emotion to it and saying, oh no, wait a minute, no, but it might, maybe I should wait until this. No. Okay, it automatically does things for you so you're less emotional about it. And I've talked about that before. Anyway, we bought in here, selling out here when it crossed the moving average. And now I want to talk about the 3 indicators that really caused me to do this, to set that stop loss in the first place. First one, it's above the channel. So this is the channel going up, and it's above here. So once again, it went exponential. So it's up high. So once again, I mean, everybody, buy low, sell high. I mean, that's really the reality of things. So 90 shares here and 90 shares selling here. If it drops down into the 300, 280, 260 possible range, we can buy more shares in at this level. So that means 90 shares become 105, 110, potentially 115 shares. So that's what I was talking about in my other video again, about how you turn 90 shares into 200 shares by playing the market. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to be correct here. They could shoot up. They could announce some crazy news, and they could launch the Model Y in China instantly, or the Shanghai factory, being open quicker. I mean, all kinds of things can drive it up. But the point is, it broke this. It's above the trend line. And to me, their sales of Model 3 in October, so the company's performance was a bit dicey to me. Nobody was really talking about this, but I'm going to mention this. Okay, their Model 3 sales were down in October. Now, why could that be? Well, when they had this monster Cybertruck release, people that were thinking about buying the Model 3 might want to wait to see if maybe they want the Cybertruck. potentially. So that slowed the sales down, I'm pretty sure, just on its own. Now, November, which is pretty much the same scenario, I expect to see the same type of numbers. And then, so December, they're going to only have one more month to catch back up on it. I mean, I would project them hitting maybe 330 sales, 330 in production instead of the 360 number that they were trying to hit. So I think that, to me, is going to make sure that they get in a lower range, a more valued range. So once again, I'm not predicting that into the way that, I mean, if it doesn't bounce, if it bounces above the moving average again, I'm going to be right back in, and you'll see it. I'll let you know. But I'm letting you know that right now, we basically made that $80 or $90 a share. We're trying to buy back 105, 110, 120 more shares down lower. So that's how I personally am playing this. You know, I'm not recommending you do anything or not do anything. I'm just showing you what I do and why I do it, and based on the analytics of it. Okay, I can be unemotional and just set, that's why I set the stop loss. Okay, at 330, I was like, okay, if it cracks at 330, it's probably gonna kick down, and it did. Right when it hit the 330, there was a lot of people that put stops on it, because I saw it kind of take a tank that day for, you know, down to, I think it was like 328 at the time, so it was down a couple more dollars, but it's bounced back since, and now it's at about 331, I think was the close. So anyway, that's how giving you the heads up on that. So the future is a potential breakout for Tesla. First thing I wanted to talk about, and this pattern may look familiar because in the last video, or a couple of videos ago, we saw the flag pattern, okay? Well, this is an inverted flag pattern, reverse flag pattern, however you want to call it. You can see the scenario. It broke down, and then it kicked back up and down, and it's moving sideways in this flag wedge pattern, okay? Normally, once again, in an inverted, it's negative, okay? It leans to the downside. The risk is to the downside. Meaning that percentage-wise, if you had to break it down, I try to break everything down into percentages. So if percentages was like 60-40 or 70-30, I would bet on this being like 60-40, meaning 60% chance of breaking down, maybe 40% chance of breaking up. And the breaking up side is because it's still in a big long-term upward trend for Tesla. So the break up side, you know, I would think is about 40. The breaking down side, and I think the main part of the breaking down side is 250,000 pre-orders. If you really look at them, that's pre-orders. How many are they really going to materialize? 50,000, 75, maybe 100. I think 100 would probably be the max that they could actually out of those orders. Granted, they still have a couple more years, but that's a low amount. Analysts didn't like that, okay? If they would have hit 1 million in the first like week of pre-orders, I never would have been out. It never would have been below this to any extent. It would have been up into here. It might have been up to 390 or 400. Because the analysts wanted to see direct competition to Ford, GM, and Dodge when it comes to trucks. They wanted to see that. They didn't get it. They got this niche product as far as they were concerned. So it's driving into this sideways fashion again, like what we were talking about before. So you know, do people want to sell the stock? I mean, not really, because it's low. It's valued at 330 now, 333. It's a cheaper valuation. So people are thinking, oh, it's good to have it here. You know, do they want to buy it? They're a little worried potentially that, you know, that what's going on with their sales in the next couple months potentially. So it's moving in the sideways. I don't know if it's going to kick out, but I do think that within a couple days, you'll probably see it kind of moving one way or the other. So it's very similar. Let me expand this so you can see the other flag pattern. The other flag breakout pattern did almost the same thing. It drops and then starts skipping up, and then it broke up. This dropped and it started skipping up. So, I mean, is it going to break back up again? I don't know. But this was off of positive earnings. This was off negative analysts about the Cybertruck release. So this was all Cybertruck release. So anyway, so this is, I'm not saying it's going either way, but you can see the 20-day moving average, and it's still below that. Today it kicked down a little bit, but not a ton. It ended at 332, I guess. So anyway, that's how I see it. Within a couple days, you're going to see something, and I think if I was getting in, it may be in, could be in at like the 345, 350 range even before I jump back in and see some positive, or even before it skips. If it breaks that, the moving average high, and it skips it, then I'm all for that. I love that. When it bounces that moving average up, that's a good spot because a lot of times it kicks up for days at a time. And then for downside, like we're out now, so I'm waiting, and if it heads down, then I'm gonna wait until it turns over that moving average to start buying in at a lower valuation. Or you can nibble down. I never like buying going down, but the exception to that rule is if you're nibbling, okay, bite size. So buying like 2 shares, 5 shares, another 5 shares, 4 shares, whatever, going down, and then you buy in for 40 or 50 or 60 shares when it crosses going up. So you nibble a little bit maybe going down, and then you can load in, if that's what you want to do. So that's the one kind of exception, because I'm not a big fan of buying going down, but I don't see Tesla like going out of business. So it's not something that's like, oh, it's never going to come back again. No, I mean, if anybody's seen any of my other videos, they know I'm pro Tesla as far as long-term stock situation. I could basically just load up right now, close my eyes for 2 years, and wake up with more money in the account. Okay, I can almost bet with 99% certainty that would happen. That's my percentage, not 60-40, but 98% chance of that happening over 2 years potentially. They would have to have all kinds of catastrophic things to happen for that not to happen. So let's move to Tesla here. And you can see the Tesla chart. We've already talked about it a few times. And let's kind of close up on it here. Let's do that. So we can get the close up on it. It broke the moving average. And remember, a couple days ago, I posted a video and I said it's going to break one way or another within a couple days. Okay, I was leaning 60% down and 40% up, so I was a little off on my projection there, but it did break. Okay, it broke up, and it broke up pretty big. I mean, it was there's like 4 days in a row of major upswing in Tesla. So, so don't feel sorry for me. Excuse me. Don't feel sorry for me that, oh my God, I missed all this time, right? But where was I at the time? Let's see. That date was, I think it was on the 2nd, which is right here. Okay, so I wouldn't feel too sorry for $70 a share increase on Google. So during that time where this is going sideways, we were picking up $80 a share on Google. So once again, just because I'm out of one stock doesn't mean I'm not somewhere else. I don't like investing when it's going sideways because you don't make any money. It's going sideways. I don't like investing going down because you're losing money. I like investing going up, buying going up, because then you're making money. So as long as stocks keep going up, keep investing in stocks going up. They're driving up and up, okay? It doesn't mean you're not going to one time get a stock and say, "Whoa, it's going up," and the next day it tanks for the next 5 or 6 days. That will happen. Okay, it's not that often it's going to happen, but that can happen. But you can set stops on things. So, okay, Tesla supports and resistance. The smaller the company, essentially the super small cap or a small cap, medium cap, or whatever. Let's say Tesla, for example, it's worth, the market cap's about 64 billion, something to that extent. So what we've got going here is it can break through those resistance easier, and it can fall through the supports easier. Okay, so that's a thing. In even lower stocks or even smaller end stocks, they almost ignore supports and resistance most of the time. But the bigger the house, the bigger the structure, the more valued those supports and resist, the more shares into that stock, the harder it is to break through those supports and resistance. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so support now, what's our next point to break? Okay, for Tesla, I think it's somewhere around where are we at? I'm sorry. Oh, 359, 360 looks like a good support for this. Okay, so I mean, if it's breaking through 360, it's at 352 already. So, oh, we're back in. By the way, I said I would tell you when we're back in. Well, it broke and we're back in. But I'm not loading up 100%. It's a more of a strategy of percentages. And Tesla to me is the next what company in 20 years do you want to look back in 20 years? Because basically I'm giving all of my shares to my daughter and to my son. They will inherit everything. So basically, I want to do the best to I guess make them the most amount of money, because I doubt I'll potentially even use a lot of the money, or maybe not even any of it. Who knows? I mean, I may hold it for 20 years and just trade it in and out, trying to make the maximum amount of money off these positions. But just because you're out in one stock doesn't mean you can't jump into another one and capitalize. If stocks are going sideways or down, you should be in a stock that's going up. Okay? I've said this before, and this is a mistake that I think, I mean, at least 50% investors probably make, is they're buying based on a price of a stock. Like, oh my gosh, Uber's really low at $32. Well, is it going up at some point in time? Are you just going to wait? Are you just going to keep waiting, making no money until it goes up, hopefully? But you can buy in when it starts going up. I mean, is there a problem? I mean, do people not have the buy and sell switches on their accounts? I'm confused by that. Okay, I'm baffled by the people won't take a chance and get in and out of stocks a little bit more frequently when they're seeing sideways and downward action. Don't bother if it's sideways and down. Get in stuff that's going up. About something that happened, and I think it was, I mean, I know it was triggered by Elon Musk. I mean, Elon Musk announced that connectivity is going to be $9.99 a month starting January 1st of next year. And I was like, wow, well, there's about 1 million cars out there now. Well, that's 10 million basically per year. I'm sorry, per month. Or $120 million for a year. So Tesla, that's a powerful thing again. They're flipping a switch. And you know what? I think our company should make $120 million more next year. Let's do that. Okay, sure, Elon. Let's flip the switch now. It was supposed to be flipped a couple months ago. But I think this is a little strategic. He saw the stock maybe going sideways. I'm just guessing here. And was like, okay, I don't like it going sideways. Hey, let's flick a $120 million switch, light switch, boom, there it is, and we're going to have that next year. And the following year, in every 1 million cars on the road, there's that revenue that keeps coming in. It's another revenue source for them. So that is what sent this up. That's the main thing, to me, the only thing that probably, because, let's see, what do analysts like? They like more money for the company. So that's what they like. They saw the Cybertruck and said, hey, that's not more money for the company. I mean, yeah, it's some, but it's not like landslide free money for the company. This is free money for the company. You know, they didn't have it before. They weren't charging anything prior to last week. And I'm pretty sure if I go back to the announcement date, if you know, leave it in the comment section what day that he announced that, or what time of day even, exactly when that was announced. I don't remember where it was that was posted. I probably saw it on YouTube or something like that, but let's see, when was that announced and where did the stock go from there? So to me, that was almost a mechanical click. I mean, I was looking downside on this, but when it kicked up for that reason, because he just put a new revenue source and they're going to be making money in perpetuity. Okay, that's incredible. And they could have charged, let's talk about it here in specific. They could have charged $19.99, right? No. $29.99? No. They didn't want, there's a balance there. There's what's called, if people, you know, basic economics, it's called elasticity of demand or inelasticity of demand. Okay, now, if something's elastic, that means it's like a rubber band. It's stretchable, it's bendable, it's breakable. Okay, if it's inelastic, it's stiff, it's firm. It's not as subjective for moving. So he basically at $9.99 made it inelastic, which means everybody has to have it. You're gonna buy a $50,000 car and not spend $120 to get all those services. There's like 8 features that comes with it, from YouTube to streaming to music, whatever it is. There's a bunch of features on it, including satellite mapping and everything. Who is not going to buy it? If you're buying a $50,000 car, you're going to spend $120,000. So that percentage of the people that are going to buy it, or somewhere, I'm estimating, this is just total guess ballpark, 95 to 98% of all Tesla owners will have this. You know, I mean, I don't see, put in the comment section if you're not going to get it. Okay, I want to see how many people. I mean, I'd love to see people just say, no, I'm not spending $10 a month for all these crazy services that are built in with the wireless connectivity. I mean, I just don't see it happening. And if he would have done a Steve Jobs, or let's say an Apple thing, and put it to $29.99, okay, let's say, just to give it like an iPad reference. So I have an iPad, but it's Wi-Fi only. If the iPad was for $9.99 for connectivity, to have the iPad fully connected anywhere, I would have definitely upped and got the higher model iPad, sorry, and I would have had the connectivity, and I would still have it now. But he made it so it's like a choice. Do you really want it? I mean, I'm not gonna spend $30 a month. That's not a value for me specifically. So he made that, Steve Jobs, or I should say Apple in general, made that kind of an elastic price. But Elon Musk at $9.99 made it inelastic. Plus, there's room to change the price. Let's see, kind of like Netflix or YouTube. Let's go $7.99 for Netflix, and then it's $9.99, and then it's $11.99, now it's $16.99. Hey, Netflix, if you go to $24.99, I'm going to just cancel it. You know, I may not use $24.99 worth of value every year. I mean, when does it stop? I mean, $50 for Netflix? What's their cap before they say, hey, we can't just keep fleecing the customers anymore? Okay, so not to beat on Netflix, I love Netflix, but and I wish I invested in Netflix. There's a sidebar, but anyway, so that's how I perceive what Elon Musk did with the connectivity. We can all talk about all these features and this and that and specifics and times and dates and what car you bought when and all that, but that is all fluff again. The main theme is flick a switch, 120 million plus, growing every year. Investors like it, stock moves up. People are confusing things and not seeing things, not seeing the forest for the trees type of thing. I mean, come on, you have to see what this is about. Why was it $9.99? They could have charged $4.99. Why didn't they charge $4.99? They were charging $0 before. They could have went to $4.99. Everybody that had a Tesla would pay the $4.99. But I think everybody, the normative profit there, the normative price, I should say, is probably $9.99. I mean, almost everyone is going to buy it for $9.99. Why would you sell it or give it away for $4.99 when you can sell it to 98% of the population of Tesla drivers who already have the car most of the times, and a lot of them have the car, but I just don't see it. And can you go to $14.99? I'm guaranteed they're all sitting in a meeting, Elon and the team of people, what are we charging for this? You know, what can we get out of it? Or what's the max we can get? Or, you know, if we charge too much, we're going to tick off the customers. We're going to sell less cars, potentially. I mean, we don't want to take that risk. So they sat there in a meeting probably for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in the last couple months trying to figure this out without doing destruction to the stock, doing destruction to their car sales, and making more money. But the future is two things. I'm going to ask you guys a quick question. I want you to comment about it, okay? There's two things that drive the stock market or stocks. If you know what those two things are, put it in the comments section, because I'm having a feeling that from checking people's responses about how Tesla's performed in the last couple of weeks, they don't know these two things, okay? So I want to know that everybody understands this, because this is everything. This is like stock market 101. Okay, what really drives stocks up or down? Anyway, we'll get back to that. But this is Tesla, and I'll give you a quick update about where we were kind of at. I've told you guys before, we started in buying it at 240 when it broke here, and then we added a little bit more in here when it broke the wedge, and added some more shares in here, and we were up at about 90 shares. And then we sold the 90 shares when it cracked the 20-day moving average going down. And then we were in Google and Facebook at the time, and they were making good money as well, so that was good during this little sideways action. Now it cracked Tesla cracked the 20-day moving average going up. We bought it in at 345 partial, then we loaded up 111 shares at 359, and it's been on a tear ever since. So it was up, I don't know, about $70 a share approximately. I mean, that's like 7,770 or some ridiculous number. But anyway, that's beyond the point. The point is really this, is that buying anywhere in here, once it cracked this, going up, everybody who bought in here at 387, at 390, at 400, good buys. All of these are good buys. Anything going up were good buys. You should be super proud of yourself because this is when you're supposed to be buying. Okay, so all of those were good decisions. I've had people say, well, I bought it. They were like proud of it. They sold it 380 right here. And they're like, oh yeah, I sold it 380. I bought in wherever and sold it at 380. You shouldn't be proud of that because now you missed out on another $40 plus, $50 a share. There's no sign telling you to sell at 380. Who told you to sell at 380? Why did you sell at 380? What was the rationale behind that? Were you just picking random numbers? Are you throwing darts at a dartboard? Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Even people buying at 400, and then somebody said, oh, I sold at 402. And they were really like, kind of, I sold at 402. They just felt like that was a good spot. 400, that's a number, right? Might as well just sell at some random number. Well, they missed out on 20 some dollars a share. I don't know. What if they had 1,000 shares and they sold there? Oh my gosh, they lost 30,000. They would have made $30,000 in 3 days. Okay, well that would have been a bad move then. I don't know how many shares they had, but I'm just saying it doesn't matter if you have 2 shares or 100 shares or 1,000 shares. It plays the same. The game plays the same way, no matter how much money you have or how many shares you have. You shouldn't play the market any different because you have 10 shares or you have 1,000 shares. You should play it the same way. Okay, the goal is to make money. And I've told you guys this before. You're buying going up. You're selling when it's going down. You don't want to be buying going down and keep losing and losing money. So any buys here, people are making money and people should be super happy about it. Anyway, so back to the two main things that drive the market. Okay? If you guys didn't guess already, the two things are not buying and selling. Okay, that's not it. That doesn't drive the market. That is an effect of two things, the psychology of it. If you understand the psychology of the market, it's two things. It's confidence and fear. Okay? Everybody right now is confident that Tesla's company is solid, and that's driving the buying up. If everybody was fearful, they would be dumping the stock. So what is there to be afraid of? I haven't even heard any news in the last couple weeks that really is driving any fear. Okay? I mean, let's put out people are just going to start putting out fear in this. What fear can you say? I mean, they're putting out all kinds of stuff, the Shanghai factory and all the forward tailwinds that they're going to have is driving all these buys up. There's nothing driving the selling of this stock right now. So just picking a random number up on the bar to sell at on an upward swing makes no sense to me. I mean, it's just, there's almost no negativity behind this stock lately. So if you're going to sell just because you're afraid of losing money up here, if you're going to sell because you're afraid of losing something up here, then go for it. Because you're the type of person that's driving the market for fear. Okay? But there's absolutely no reason to be selling this stock if you own it. I wouldn't put a gun to my head, maybe I'll sell it. Okay, but there's nothing telling me to do it otherwise. Okay, I mean, it would have to be like a forced situation. I'd have to be strapped on cash or needing money for something or whatever it is. I mean, it's incredible run. Why would I just let it run? Okay, look, let me use a poker analogy. A lot of people play poker, so you can understand this stuff. But I mean, what hand do you have here? What starting hand is this? Is this kings? Is it aces? Is it pocket twos? I mean, what are you dealing with? Ace jack here? I mean, how good is this hand from here? Look at this and see how good it looks to you. Does this look like a terrible starting hand or a solid starting hand? Think about it that way. Or, I mean, are you on the river right now, last card in, and you've got like a full house? Are you really worried about, are you confident about that hand? Think about it that way maybe. I mean, for all the poker player, or put it to whatever job that you have. Actually, do it to that. Whatever job you have specifically. Let's look at Tesla and compare it to it. I mean, maybe you're super confident with what you do. You know, are you super fearful that you're going to lose your job or that everything's going to go bad? You know, a lot of people have that fear of different things, bad things happening all the time. But you know, think about it to your own personal thing. I don't know how to equate it, but everything in the market is confidence and fear. Everybody just throws numbers. Oh my gosh, is Tesla overvalued at 420? Should I still be buying? Where is the data telling you? Give me some data. Don't be giving me these company evaluation stuff. I don't want to hear about that. I want to see what the trend is. I want to see what millions of people are doing. Are millions of people positive and confident in buying, or are millions of people selling and afraid? Okay? So if everybody else is afraid and selling, I'm getting out. I'm not going to get trapped in that ball of fear. Okay? And if they're buying, I'm going to be in as low as I can be in on that buying trend up. So to maximize. So back to the poker analogy, you want to win the biggest hands you can for the most amount of chips, and you want to reduce the losing hands because you're going to have them. Reduce the losing hands to the minimum amount you can lose. So let your streaks run and make as much money as you can on the big hands. You know, Tesla's a big hand here now. It's not a stock that moves at like $1 a day. It's a big moving stock. So there's a chance to make big pots here for it. I mean, if you really want to look at it in the poker analogy, okay? I played millions of hands of poker, 2 million plus hands of poker. So I've seen a lot of that fear and confidence in that game. And this is what the stock market's all about. It's a gamble. Don't think you're not gambling every day. My dad was, oh no, I'm investing. You are not investing. Don't act like all these people are investors. You are gamblers. Gamblers. You are gambling on the future. You are betting that your hand is better than somebody else's, and vice versa. So this is a zero-sum game, and if you don't understand how the rules of the game even work, what's the point? Okay? And the game is driven on confidence and fear. Stop trying to pick random numbers on the market. Oh, 440, I'm going to sell it. 440, if it gets out, I'm going to sell. Why? So when it goes up to 490, you're going to regret it? I'm not telling you to buy or sell anything based on a number. Buy and sell based on the trends. If it's going up, you're going to be making money. I cannot reiterate this more. Stop buying when something, people are, I'm going to buy the dip, I'm going to buy the, well, the dip can turn into a crash. So buying the dip is okay, right? But it could turn into a crash of a stock. I'm not saying it's going to turn into a crash on Tesla or whatever. I mean, eventually this stock has to come back to some normal levels. The question is, the normal levels may be 480. What if it shoots up to 500 and then drops back to 480? You don't sell out now knowing that it's going to drop at some point in time. You're just guessing again. Stop guessing. There's no need to guess here. There's reasons, there's charts here, there's data here. There's reasons that we have charts on this. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've seen a technical chart on an art painting or a song. I've never seen a chart like this on a song or a painting. You know, I don't think I've seen it on, geez, I honestly haven't even seen it when it comes to golf, poker, pool, billiards, anything. I've never seen a chart like, because this is economics. This is a different game. Okay. It's still a game that you're trying to win. You're not trying to beat everybody else. You're just trying to win pots and win money. You're not trying to beat everybody else and pick some random number. Okay, anyway, I can go on a rant pretty much forever about this because I just keep seeing people say the same thing. Like, oh, I sold it 422. Guy's super proud. Or I sold it 400. And they were like proud of that sell. And I'm thinking, man, you're proud of selling it. Why would you be proud of losing $30 a share? That makes no sense. Okay, none. You know, so I'm going to wait. We're in, maximum in right now. And pretty high percentage, you know, it's like, I don't know, 25, 30%, which is high, you know, but that's how much confidence I have in the stock and based on the technicals. If you follow the technicals, you don't need to have confidence yourself in your mind. I'm just, you know, playing the game, okay? We were dealt aces here. This is aces here, kings, okay? So why not take them pots? So we're just taking the pot off right now. It's that simple, okay? And then when we get a 2-7 offsuit, we'll just fold. No big deal. We can just fold a couple hands. It's not the end of the world. Keep the losses minimal. Wants a stock update. Everybody's freaking out. Oh my gosh, it went down $16 a share yesterday. No big deal. Okay, there's a couple reasons that does happen there. The day or a couple days before, the investors, the institutional investment firms, they have to clear their books one way or the other. Sometimes they have to buy and sell based on what they're trying to do for tax purposes and whatnot. So it was a massive sell-off on the entire market yesterday. Every stock that I had went down yesterday that we were tracking. So it wasn't like, oh my God, Tesla went. Everything went down. Everything got sold off yesterday. Probably because they didn't want to wait till New Year's Eve today to start, dumping their shares. So you see a little bit of buy-in today. It's up about 1%, about $4. At least the last time I checked, that was $10.47. So anyway, it's at $418 per share. So no reason to panic. Let me expand it out. You can see where it's going up. Here's a bump right here, and it's not even back up to its normal slope. Okay, your normal 1-to-1 slope is coming here. Anything more than that is just exponential. It has to come back to a normal slope of a trend. Going up 2, going sideways 1, that's a little heavy on the slope. So anyway, so it's shooting over here, and we'll keep an eye on it. It's still way above the moving average. You can see the moving average down at like 380. So, like I said, this would be a long time. If it crosses somehow at 400, if it came down, I don't see it doing that, but it's possible that, it could bounce around that moving average. But
future is a breakout for the Tesla stock. Let's take a look at the chart for Tesla. And you can see the earnings report's coming up, 129.20. This is going to drive the stock one way or another in the next 2 weeks. I'm betting, again, it's about 80% going up, maybe 20% going down if I had to ballpark it. You can see the pennant formation here. It's plain as day again. We talked about the pennants and flag formations in the past. And you can see how that it's driving down into that wedge. Also, remember, the Battery Investor Day is in February. I'm not sure if they announced it yet. If anybody knows when they're announcing that or if they know anything about the date, please leave it in the comments so we can be, more up top on that one. So anyway, as far as you can see the flag, you can see the breakout. You can see in red where it's closing down into that. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to break either way again. It means it's going to break. Okay, now I'm going to show you a couple month chart of Tesla. And now you can see this looks completely different. Okay, this is just the tail end of what we were just showing you in the full chart. Okay, and now you can see where the arrows that I have in red, yellow, and green, they're showing basically down ticks in the chart, in the stock. Now, if you look at the red one, okay, the red one was the yearly sell-off. At the end of the year, basically, the financial institutions are clearing some of their books, so that's pretty common, okay? Nothing really to do with Tesla. And then it goes straight up after the beginning of the year, and everybody bought back in. Big surprise. Shocker. No, not at all. And then the yellow, okay? The yellow tick was basically, it was around, I think, the 6th or 7th. I can't see the date on here. But anyway, this was also another basically pullback because it was getting slightly, I guess it was kind of nearing that 500 mark, which mentally that's kind of a big milestone to hit $500 a share. So it approached that, and I think it scared a lot of the traders off. So that's like a little trader move there, I would say. These are just guesses, but I think I'm pretty accurate when I guess most of the time. Now the green. Okay, the green was pretty obvious. Okay, the green was even bulls saying this stock is too high. We better take some profits off the table. Okay, even Gerber Kawasaki, he took profits off the table, and you can see in that chart that basically if you Actually, I'll show you in the next chart where you see some of the sell-offs. But you'll see that all three of those spots really don't have anything to do with Tesla negatively as a company. Okay, and then it charged up today. And I talked about this in the video I made yesterday, that the stock was going to break out. I didn't think necessarily it would break out instantly in trading pre-market and open market today when it went flying. But, that's the case. It was driving into the wedge. It broke the wedge right there. That is a huge implication going forward. The future is now, and the future is $650 per share for Tesla. But let's look at the flag pattern. Flag pattern? Who's mentioned the flag pattern before? Yeah, another one. Okay, we talked about the Model S. Obviously, the Model S was like the best car ever. Road and Track or whatever it was. And then, of course, you have the Model X. Another quality car with the wing doors. Okay, back to the flag pattern. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. The Model Y is going to be produced, and supposedly it's going to produce more than the S, X, and 3 combined. That hasn't even been produced yet, but it's going into production really soon. Oh, yeah, and possibly the best sports car ever is going to be produced? All right. Yeah. Okay. The flag pattern. That's right. Yeah. What about the semi truck? Yeah, they're going to start production of that as well, but that's a battery issue. Oh, wait a minute. Cybertruck. That's right. There's probably 500,000 pre-orders, and they can make as many as Elon said, basically, as they can. And let's see what else is coming up. Oh yeah, maybe Robotaxi, or not maybe. It's going to happen, but he's going to start it probably with people driving like Uber. Okay, and then what if they make a Model 2 in China? Oh, that could be pretty big, right? Or just in the US as well. Let's see, what else did they have in the pipeline? Oh, that's right. Their power source. Okay, their storage, their solar. I mean, come on, their solar roofs, everything. Oh, back to the flag pattern. We haven't really gotten to that. You can, oh yeah, that's right. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's getting to be time for the shorts to wave the white flag. Okay, it doesn't mean the stock's not going to dip at this point. So we've got to thank Tesla for the execution, for hitting their numbers, for looking like they're going to dominate the EV sector for years, potentially a decade. So you can see the first pennant, the second pennant, the first flag, and the second flag just on this chart. And this is a pretty recent span of time. And each time they keep pushing up, running into the flag or pennant, and then pushing up super high at that point. So most likely, for the rest of this entire year, we'll probably ride the wave out. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go up and down the whole year. I'm pretty sure it's going to end up further higher by the end of the year. So we're not going to do a whole lot of trading in and out. We pretty much, are solidified our position right now. And we're going to kind of see how everything plays out for the year. Like, I'm not going to try to, worry about the dips, sell high and buy in low. I'm not going to try to do that right now with Tesla. It's super hard to kind of gauge it because they travel up and down so severely day to day. So most likely we're going to be in a hold mode. We're going to see how battery day plays out and see how the next quarter performs before pretty much we do anything with Tesla. So that pretty much gets us caught up. I showed you the hyperbolic move. And if you haven't seen that latest video, that was from last week. And also the video that I made the other day that was on the Tesla gradual slope that we're in currently. So I hope this video helps you guys out and shows you basically the path that I took from 240 till now, where it's about 760 a share, and how I evaluated the chart at every stage, and whether to stay in, whether to sell shares, whether to buy more shares, all because of the charting and because of the research behind the company. So if you guys made it through this video, I have to applaud you on that. This was a 5-month span of Tesla and what I had to go through. So there's a lot of research, there's a lot of work, to get this done. But I appreciate you guys watching any of the videos, and you can always go back to the date that I have labeled and check any of the videos to see what we were talking about on that specific video, because I had to cut them short just to keep this one under an hour long. So the future is now, and the future is Tesla stock updates. I'll keep you posted.